Welcome back, and in this segment we will be talking about a conference that's taking place here in Egypt. It's the first international regional professional conference on arbitration, and I'm happy to have with me Dr. Bsam غلمان, and he's Vice President of Saudi Council of Engineers. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning. Very nice to be with you, and very nice talking to you and to your respectful viewers.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, let's talk about this first professional conference for arbitration, because this is something of great importance. Usually people, they talk about arbitration and sometimes they need to understand more when do they need to seek arbitration. So what is the significance of the conference, first of all?
Very good. First of all, in our Arab countries, we used to seek for the traditional way of solving problems while happening. For example, people used to go directly to courts in order to solve their conflicts and their disputes. Our courts nowadays are full of cases. So going to courts, just waste of time, waste of money, waste of effort, waste of everything. So we need to seek for another alternative which is much better than the regular traditional way of solving conflicts and disputes. Therefore, we thought about arbitration as another choice of solving problems away from the regular traditional legislative procedure. The aim of this conference is to educate the societies in the Arab countries, and to educate the decision makers, and to educate the specialities to seek or to go and to think about arbitration instead of traditional court procedures. So this is the main objective of conducting this conference.
Well, Doctor, the theme of the conference is Arab arbitration, present and future. The choice of the theme itself, and how was it implemented in the conference, Doctor?
Yeah, actually the International Academy for Mediation and Arbitration is an Egyptian academy, and it covers all the Arab world, and they are wonderful guys. They usually seek and look for new and up-to-date methodologies in order to modernize and develop our countries. And they thought about this subject or this theme because of nowadays conflicts. I mean, everybody is complaining about the time frame and complaining about the cost of solving disputes and conflicts. So they started by what we call a questionnaire, and they asked the professionals all around the Arab world about what we need in the industry, what we need in our societies, and they found that from the feedback that they got from specialities and from professional guys in the field, they got a feedback that we are in need to find another way to solve our problems away from courts. So they decided to conduct the conference, and they selected this theme to be the main theme behind all activities in the conference.
I think this is going to be one of the main pillars to investments as well, because
Correct.
Definitely whenever we talk about attracting investments, we all know that one of the main challenges actually is the idea that each of the investors, he wants to guarantee that if he wants to exit or if he is going to face any challenge, he has a proper way to manage his business, not to waste time, not to waste money, not to waste, just as you mentioned, everything. So the idea of application, of applying this and to reach to an extent that whenever you have anything or a dispute, it's going to be solved just overnight. I think this is the most important part.
Correct. Therefore, now it is our role in the societies and in the professional councils to, I mean, to get rid of our traditional way of solving problems and think about arbitration.
Are we going to apply this?
Oh yeah,
That's my
of
point.
course, of course. For example, we started in Saudi Arabia. I'm talking about ourselves as the Saudi Council of Engineers.
Yes.
We started and we established a specialized center. We called it the Arbitration Center in Riyadh, and we started to educate the society and educate the professionals and educate the communities about the importance of arbitration. I mean, in the meanwhile, we started to help our neighbors in Arab countries. We helped the government of Bahrain to establish also an arbitration center in Bahrain to cover all the Gulf region. And also we worked together with the society of, or the Egyptian Society of Engineers also to establish an arbitration center here in Cairo, and already established, and we are now in the process of starting to motivate people to come and to deal with this arbitration center instead of going to courts directly. So now it is our role as professionals, it is our role now to educate people and to highlight the importance of dealing with arbitration instead of legislation.
Yes. Dr. Coleman, now concerning your participation in this conference, so are you participating with certain papers, symposiums, or are you attending it? Would you tell us please about your participation?
Yes, good. Let me first, allow me first to highlight some points about the conference itself.
Yes.
The conference is a 3-day conference. It started yesterday in one of the big hotels here in Cairo, and it's going to continue today, and tomorrow will be the final sessions and what we call the recommendation session. I presented my paper yesterday. It was about the role of the communities and the councils in educating societies about the importance and the objectives behind dealing with arbitration instead of legislation. So it was a good paper. Yesterday was the opening ceremony. More than 12 Arab countries were represented in the opening session, and the attendance, was wonderful, and more than 200 professionals from all over Arab world and communities were attending the opening ceremony yesterday.
So the most important part is after the conference, because definitely we always have many different successful events, but I'm very much concerned with the recommendations. What will happen next? Because when are we going to apply, when we will have such an entity, and how far can it be capable of solving any dispute taking place?
Okay, good. Actually, we are facing this difficulty all over the Arab world about the recommendations. How to make sure that the recommendation will not be placed in shelves and locked. We are interested in seeing and in observing the application or the implementation of the recommendations that taking place in our conferences. Therefore, we started thinking from yesterday that we need to form or to establish a group. Their own and main responsibility is to take care of the recommendations and follow each and every one to make sure that every recommendation taken will be implemented through the societies and through the councils along Arab countries.
Now, Doctor, are there any laws to make whatever the decisions of these councils say abiding, or do we need still to do legislative work?
Yeah, of course. I mean, whatever we take, we need to make sure that there is no conflict with the current laws in Arab countries. We are free to take whatever decisions we like, whatever decision we feel that it is of benefit to our societies and our people, but we have a major condition, is that it will be, I mean, there will be no conflict with the current laws in our countries. And it is easy. It is easy to do so. I mean, we have two options. Either we create our own laws and try to make them comply with our current laws, or we can take international recommendations and laws and modify them according to our laws. But it is easy. It is easy. We have the main condition, and the only condition is that it does not conflict with our current laws and regulations.
So you mentioned something that's really very, very important, because we have to work also on the awareness that we have to quit legislation and we have to move on to the arbitrations. How can we do this, and what are the main challenges we are facing in this respect in the Arab world?
Yeah. If I want to categorize the challenges, I would consider the public awareness is number one challenge.
Yes.
It is number one challenge. How to convince and how to educate people and how to let them change their own way of thinking, and how to take them from the procedure and from the way of thinking that they lived in for tens of years, and how to convince them to stay away
But
from
is it
courts.
about people or governments when it comes to awareness? Because definitely people will be more interested in their own interests, and definitely no one is willing to go to the court, as you mentioned, whatever the case is. So the point is, again, are we talking about people in general, or investors, or the governments who have the full control to apply something like this?
Okay, I mean, let me be honest with you. I mean, we used to blame governments always. But in this particular case, it is the people decision. The people decision. Because I mean, whenever we have disputes, whenever we have claims, whenever we have conflicts, the government has nothing to do with that. I mean, on the opposite side, the government wants to free courts from cases. It is my decision. It is your decision to select either to go to court or to go to arbitration. So it is the decision.
So why they go to court?
They want to go to court because they used to. They used to. They said, I mean, whenever you talk to a regular guy, for example, in the street, and tell him, whenever you have a problem, don't go to court, go to arbitration. The first question he asks, he says, for example, what is arbitration? It's a new thing. It's a new philosophy. No, I'm afraid. I may lose money. I may lose time. I don't know whom to talk to. It is a new thing. Let me go to court. I mean, my father, my grandfather, everybody in the society, go to court. I mean, why I change? Why I need to think about something else? And this is the challenge. Now we are trying to educate people about the benefits of going to arbitration instead of courts. So let me say it again and again and again. It is not the problem of governments. It is the problem of the society. It is the problem of the minds of the regular people, and it is a problem about how to change the heritage. How to change the heritage that people used to go directly and seek for courts to solve their problems. Whenever we educate people, and whenever you take, as a citizen, you take a decision to solve your problem through arbitration, the government will not prevent you. I mean, and I see it the opposite. I mean, I think the governments, will encourage people to free courts and to go for arbitration. So it is the problem of societies, a problem of individuals, not a problem of governments. Whenever we be able to educate people, we will start getting benefits of arbitration.
Dr. Gulman, we've discussed education and we've talked about the challenges as well as raising the awareness. What other topics will be on the agenda of the conference?
Actually, the conference, talks about arbitration in general. Under arbitration as the big umbrella, we find what we call the specialized arbitration. For example, I'm an arbitrator, but because I'm an engineer, so I'm specialized in the engineering arbitration. We have for example, commercial arbitration. We have engineering arbitration. We have industrial arbitration. We have so many kinds of arbitration. The theme of the conference about arbitration in general, and we have specialized fields of arbitration under the general umbrella.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Bessam Ghulman, the Vice President of the Saudi Council of Engineers. Thank you very much for being with us, and welcome in Egypt.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be with you and very glad talking to you and talking to your respectful viewers.
Thank you
and good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. Well, and that brings us to the end of today's episode of Breakfast Show. But first of all, I have to thank my colleague Nashwa Rashid. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rasha. Thank you, all of you, for joining us on this episode of our Breakfast Show. And remember to join us again tomorrow, same time, for more on our show. Till then, thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.
الشمس طلعت زور النيل، تفرد ايديها في يوم جميل، تقول كل هنا السلام في أرض طيبة والأحلام. The sun shines up to praise the Nile, to wave to us and gives a smile, to send us all a message of peace, the land of pharaohs, the land of dreams. الشمس طلعت زور النيل، تفرد ايديها في يوم جميل، تقول للكل هنا السلام في أرض طيبة والأحلام. Le Nil, la mer, le désert, ouvrent leurs portes à toute l'air, à partager la grande terre de notre Égypte bien-aimée. مصر الجميلة